Hey, it is Friday. Welcome into your go-to show for sports here on the Shore. Delmarva Sports Insider. I'm Anthony Joseph.
And I'm Chris Brunk. Thank you for joining us. We've got a whole lot to get into tonight.
Let's go over what we have in store for you tonight on DSI. One Sussex Central football player now is signed on to play college football. Find out where. Also, the Maryland Terps, they have a new basketball head coach, and one of his former players has transferred to the team. Details later in the show.
And we've got a whole lot of lacrosse action for you. Plus, we're sitting down with dirt racer James Hill. But, Anthony, we start with Stephen Decatur taking on Delmarva in a non-conference baseball game.
Chris, we certainly do. Intense game with Delmarva taking on Stephen Decatur. It was a good one. Bottom of the fifth, ball hit right back to the pitcher trying to make a play at home, but misses as Owen Phillips. That is not the right video.
Seems like we're having some
technical
difficulties with that right there, but you'll have to trust us. This was a really good one. So
it was a thriller.
You know, I would love to watch that from the beginning.
Good luck with that. We'll say top of the sixth. That was a swing and miss. A lot of scoring on in this contest. And you had Stephen Decatur back and forth against Delmarva. It was a good pitching duel taking place in this contest. You had Ray Joseph scoring for the Wildcats at one point, 3-2. Robert McCade, bottom of the seventh, where it all happened. Ball hit to the shortstop, play made at second, trying to make it. Johnny Hobgood, Caleb Loring, and all the firepower for Stephen Decatur. It was a thriller. Come from behind victory, 4-3 over Delmarva. Head coach Rick Ferrero talks about what happened in the seventh inning to come from behind.
Not really any type of pep talk or anything. It was just more of these guys have the resiliency that have experienced, playing at Decatur for a couple of years. They know that they wanted to be in that moment, and they were just ready to compete. And that's all we asked for. We can't control the outcome. All we can really control is our effort and the way we go about our business.
And Seaford Baseball played host to Lake Forest earlier this week. The Blue Jays coming into the game at 1-1 after a close loss to Sussex Academy, with Lake Forest still searching for their first win of the season. And the Spartans got what they were looking for in a big way with senior William Knoll on the mound. Lake jumped out to a 12-3 lead by the end of the third inning. Spartans didn't look back, scoring 4 in the top of the sixth to make the lead 17-5. They beat Seaford in 6 innings to move to 1-2. They notch their first victory of the year.
Stay updated while we're at these games in real time.
Make sure to follow WMDT Sports on Facebook and X right now.
The Delmarva Shorebirds kick off the baseball season on the road against the Salem Red Sox for Game 1 of the 3-game series. Chase Alsup started the game for Delmarva and was making his first appearance of his professional career. His opposition, Blake Aida for Salem, he was also making his professional debut. The offense of the Shorebirds, they struggled, lost 12-1. Alsup took the loss as he went 4 innings. He did strike out 4. The winning pitcher, Oleta for Salem, Game 2 is tomorrow at 6:35.
And it wasn't just Decatur playing out of conference for baseball. The Clippers were getting after it, hosting the Chincoteague Ponies in the fourth right there. We've got Carson Bennett slapping one through the infield to get on base for the Clippers. Later in the inning, Owen Hare puts a charge into one. This one is going way back over the head of the center fielder. Bennett comes home to score, and Hare walks into second base with an RBI double. Bennett led 15-0 in this game after 4 innings, and that would end up being your final score. Clippers ride the Ponies out of town. Here's head coach Chad Winnington after the game on his team's big day.
Just putting the bat on the ball. This is just one of those days where we wanted to come out and work on the little things, putting the barrel on the ball, running the base as well, just trying to clean ourselves up. We've had a tough start to the season, 3-2. Against some tough opponents, so we wanted to just kind of work on the details today. We seem to be a team of momentum, so this will give us a little momentum going into a really tough game Monday against Kent Island, so we hope this is going to get the train rolling.
It wasn't just Bennett baseball taking the field today in Salisbury. Clippers boys lacrosse was getting in on the action too. They came in their game against Easton at 1-3, looking for a spark after dropping 2 in a row. Clippers versus the Warriors in Salisbury. Miles Jarman, he was the playmaker. Up top, left to right, finds cutting Grayson Atkins, who takes his time and delivers inside. Bennett was feeling it early, especially Jarman. This time, Jarman steps into one, big wind up for the face, slams it to the turf, and the score with the bouncer. Jarman had 5 points just in the first half. He was feeling it. Now, Jacob Masinga, back to basics, left to right, split down the alley, fires it stick side past the keeper for the goal. And it wasn't just the offense working for Bennett. Easton with an extra man opportunity. David Nelson stonewalls them, locates the rebound, just feeling it all day long. Bennett gets the big win, 11-1 over the Easton Warriors. They needed that one.
And now for some football news. Jawan Sturgis, big playmaker for Sussex Central this past season, and he has now officially signed on to play college football at Susquehanna University. He'll be playing linebacker for that school located in PA. Sturgis, super quick, seems like he just has a nose for the ball, always part of the play.
He certainly is. Delmarva softball also played against Decatur today. Bottom of the third inning, Delmarva pitch, and Decatur hits an absolute laser shot into center field. They try to make the play, but it's just too late. Lacey Herzog scores for the Seahawks, and Wally Smith gets the RBI. Decatur, they're still at the plate. It's a pop fly going past second base. Delmarva tries, but misses the ball. Hayden Esworthy will score, and Emily Bloom will get the RBI. Now to the fifth inning. Delmar will get 2 runs as the Seahawks get 1 in the 6th, 3-2. Decatur will score again in the bottom of the 6th, while Delmar tries to make a comeback in the 7th inning. Only able to get 1, the Lady Seahawks go on to beat Delmar. It was a good one, 4-3.
And Indian River was looking to take down Caesar Rodney in a big matchup this week. IR up to bat. This ball hit to the second baseman, but she can't reel it in. IR heading home, and they will score. That's Caitlin Lasher and Adeline Clark, both of them with an RBI from Autumn Willie. CR now with the pitch, launched to left field, and Caesar Rodney can't get the ball in time. 2 more runs for Indian River, Sophia Skersey and Willie scoring thanks to that hit from Jillian Colburn. Indian River, they just can't be stopped on offense in this one. This one smacked to center field. Colburn scores thanks to Satara McGee's RBI. Now, even with Caesar Rodney scoring 3 of their own runs in the 4th inning and their defense producing some outs, it was not enough to stop Indian River. Final score of 10-5. IR off to a great start this season.
We're calling our first time out, but when I return, I'll be sitting down with local dirt racer James Hill.
He talks about his performance last week in Georgetown. We've got that and a whole lot more when Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
Hi, I'm Coach Powell from Indian River High School Softball, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.
Welcome back to Delmarva Sports Insider. My special guest, local dirt racer James Hill. Last week, James, it was the first race at Georgetown Speedway. How great was it to be back racing again?
It was good, real good. 3rd race of the year. Big shout out to Kenny Adams and the whole track crew over there. Just a big turnaround for that whole program. It was nice to just be back at our local track, really.
You know, you finished 3rd. How would you sum up your racing experience?
It was good. 3rd place. It seems like that's what we've gotten all year at Port Royal and then Bridgeport Speedway, both 3rd place finishes, but we got into 2nd there for, I don't know, about 9-10 laps, and then a caution come out, and with the new lineup with the Delaware start, it put us to the inside, and we dropped back there for a little bit, but to come back to get 3rd, especially at our local place, I'm real happy with it.
You know, as far as the speed, did you have a lot of speed that night?
Oh, for sure. The track conditions, like I said, once again, just a big shout out to those guys. It's they've really turned that place around.
What is it like when you're racing around Georgetown Speedway?
just flat out wide open, and wreckers or checkers more or less, but that's what we're hoping for. Checkers more or less than the wreckers.
You don't want to get in the big one.
No, for sure.
What are your thoughts on the big event taking place on next Friday night?
Like I said, just being at home is more or less a good thing. We just got rained out there at New Egypt Speedway, so we'll take this week off and go back into Georgetown. But just watch track conditions and good speed all night. It's more or less what we're looking for right out of the trailer.
You know, besides running at Georgetown Speedway, where else are you going?
We'll be at Delaware International, another local track, one of my favorites. And then we're in contentions right now. We're tied for first place with Short Track Super Series. So New Egypt Speedway, I think Adcord Speedway. I haven't even really looked at the schedule. We didn't plan on running that series, but as long as we're in contention, we're gonna keep on running it. But more or less stay local more than anything, and just help out the local tracks, and we'll just go from there.
How much is involved getting ready for the race and just the process of being able to race week in and week out?
It's people don't understand how hard it is. I've got some of the best people behind me. Debbie and Buddy Matthews, my car owners, all my sponsors. One of the main ones this year, Toyota Pank of Salisbury. It takes a lot of effort. It really does. We have a full-time job. I've got a full-time business, and after we get off work, it's full-time on the race cars. And to be up front, it's a nonstop full-time job. But we all have to make money as well. But thanks to all the marketing partners, it's so many. I know we've got a short amount of time, but just thank you to all my sponsors. They've really made us do a big turnaround this year.
We are running out of time, so I want to ask you, what are your expectations for this racing season?
Plain and simple, we want to win as many races for these people who put the money into it, and hopefully come out with track championship, both of them, Delmarva and Georgetown Speedway, and then also maybe a short track Super Series Speedway.
How fun is it just to race, be a racer?
Man, I've been in it for, I couldn't tell you how long, since I was a kid. It's nothing like it. Big shout out to my mom and dad. Like say, it's kept me out of trouble. It's kept me, it's a good hobby. It's just an expensive one. But thank you to my mom and dad for all that they've done for me for that.
Thank you so much, James.
Yep.
I really appreciate you.
Thank
being
you, Anthony.
Here.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, coming up, find out why Delaware Congresswoman Sarah McBride paid a visit to Lewis. Plus, police are investigating a shooting in Millsboro last night. We'll have those stories and more coming up after the break.
How you doing? This is Jake Coleman, head football coach Steve Decatur, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider. Go Hawks!
Welcome back, everyone. Delaware Congresswoman Sarah McBride paying a visit in Lewis today, assuring library goers that she's in their corner. WMDT's Layla Wea tells us why.
Libraries across the country are speaking out against President Donald Trump's plans to stop funding them. And here in Delaware, Congresswoman Sarah McBride says she's pushing back.
I will work with anyone who's willing to work with me to help Delaware, and I will stand up to anyone who wants to hurt Delaware and Delawareans.
U.S. Representative Sarah McBride paying a visit to the Lewis Public Library, bringing a warning.
It's libraries like this one here in Lewis that are under attack from the Trump administration.
The Trump administration has been threatening cuts to Institute of Museum and Library Services funding. That would halt $1.4 million from funneling into 33 different first state libraries, including in Lewis. Representative McBride says the president's move would violate the Museum of Library Services Act.
Over the last several weeks, we have seen an effort to decimate the federal government and to cut funding and programming that benefits Delawareans, including attacks on the federal agency that helps to fund and support libraries like this very one.
Library Director Jill DiPaolo has been outspoken about the potential cuts.
This is what the foundation of a public library is about. We are founded on democracy.
DiPaolo says library services will be affected by funding cuts.
We're rural down here in Sussex County. People don't have access to a lot of other cultural experiences. We provide programming. We bring in artists. We bring in dance performances. We're bringing in lectures. We're bringing in science series. We're bringing in best-selling authors, and it's all free.
Representative McBride says she will continue to fight for those vital resources.
The last several months has been filled with a lot of efforts to defend my constituents, but also a lot of opportunities to work across the aisle, as I have done here in Delaware.
Reporting in Lewis, I'm Layla Wia, WMDT, because local matters.
Now, Representative McBride also says she's been fighting against the federal cuts to the Food Bank of Delaware. She warns that up to 1 million meals could be blocked from reaching the most vulnerable people. Meanwhile, police are investigating a shooting in Millsboro last night. Around 9:30, Delaware State Police responded to the 26,000 block of Mountjoy Road for a reported shooting. The investigation revealed an unknown suspect fired several rounds, hitting a home, a shed, and 3 vehicles. 4 people were inside of the home at the time of the shooting, but nobody was hurt. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to call police at 302-752-3897. And a Milton man has been arrested for felony gun charges following a search warrant. 29-year-old Dion White was placed in handcuffs yesterday. Police say that he was distributing illegal narcotics from his home on Stockley Road. And when White and his home were searched, police say they found nearly 197 grams of heroin, a handgun, and more than $2,300 in suspected drug money. White is facing multiple felony charges. Now let's turn to Chief Meteorologist Rich Werdzik. Rich, do we have any wet weather for the Salisbury Marathon tomorrow morning?
Well, I think the way it's going to time out here, Hannah, is that the showers that are going to be around, we're going to get them out of here just in time for a race start. So that means there could be some wet roads out there, and some of the trail could be a little bit on the wet side. But I think for running, it's going to be pretty good for tomorrow morning. We'll get to that in a moment. Show Auto Sales Sky Cam, where we start this evening in Georgetown. It's a mild and muggy evening. Temperatures still haven't dropped below 60 in some spots. Georgetown at 64, Salisbury at 60, Cambridge at 61. This is tough to come by. We had a little bit of it today. Some sunshine out at Assateague Park. Joe Lieb was out there, one of our weather watchers. Just a beautiful day. With temperatures that in some cases were close to 80 inland, maybe a little cooler toward the water. But most of the day, I know, looked like this. Cloudy skies. This is Leonard's Mill Park. It still was beautiful to get out, take a hike today, check things out. This is where meteorologist Eric Alf was earlier today, seeing the green continuing to show up here, the lush green with the grass and some of the budding out there. Should be a decent weekend to be able to do some of that because our rain chances are going to be spaced out here. We got a couple showers tonight. Let's talk about the marathon tomorrow. A shower. Isolated shower around 7 a.m. I'm hoping most of those are gone, though. In Salisbury, at least. Up in Delaware, might hold on to those for a little longer. But the idea here is that temperatures will be on the cool side, comfortably cool, 60 at 9, 64 at 11. Won't have direct sun. The cloudy, gloomy skies, great for the running, I would think. I'm going to be in there, too, trying to do that 5K myself. But the mugginess is probably going to be the only complaint for tomorrow, I would say. Now, Boundary is to our south. It moved through today. That's why it wasn't as warm as yesterday in some spots. It wasn't much of a cool front when it moved south, but it's lifting north tonight as a warm front. And these showers you see developing there just ahead of the front, those could be moving through during the early morning hours. Big time storms continue off to the west. Tons of severe weather. This is the same system that's been wreaking havoc out there for several days. Not moving because there's no upper level support to kick this thing east. That happens late Sunday, and that's when we're going to see a strong cold front move through and give us our best chance for rain here in the mid-Atlantic. Now, looking at temperatures that are mild right now, note that tonight as that front moves north, there could be a shower, even a thunder shower along it. No severe weather expected. This could be an early wake-up call for some of you. 6 a.m. there, you can see that boundary moving through. This is why I'm hoping that we can get the race in without any problems, so the showers will be gone by sunrise. And looking at all of Saturday ending up being generally dry, maybe a few peaks of sun, just a lot of cloudiness. 7 o'clock Sunday morning, most of the day okay, a couple early showers in the afternoon. It's late in the day that showers will increase in coverage and intensity as a cold front slowly works in from the north. And as the front passes by, maybe some heavier storms, and then rain continuing behind the front for a very chilly setup to start things off Monday. It's going to be so cold next week, we could be looking at a freeze, and they've happened a lot later than early April here. And in fact, since 1991, you can see Salisbury's last freezes have happened in May. Now, I'm not saying don't wait to plant until Mother's Day, but you get the idea. It can get cold well into the month of April here, so it'll be pretty normal when I show you the 7-day here. 51 to 56 tonight. A couple showers early tomorrow, pre-sunrise for most of us. Showers and storms, which could be heavy, Anthony. We're going to check that on Sunday. And as I back away here, you can see that chance of a frost or freeze Tuesday night. Pretty chilly stuff.
Bad weather was gone. Stick around. The Maryland Terps have a new head coach and a new player. Coming up in sports, find out the latest about this top-tier program. You're watching DSI.
This is Rich Farrell from Stephen Decatur High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.
Welcome back to Delmarva Sports Insider. The Maryland Terps have hired Texas A&M head coach Buzz Williams to replace Kevin Willard, who left to go to Villanova. Williams has compiled 373 wins. He's only lost 228 times in his coaching career as a head coach. His other jobs have included stops at New Orleans, Marquette, Virginia Tech, and Texas A&M. He's made 3 Sweet 16s and an Elite 8 and 5 March Madness tournaments as a head coach. With Willard, the Terps reached the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2016. Buzz Williams will have a familiar face on his team as Texas A&M transfer Farrell Payne announced that he is committed to play for the Terps. Payne obviously has history with Williams playing for him at Texas A&M over the last 3 seasons. They definitely need him.
And now to SU lacrosse, Bryce Bromwell. He's having a remarkable season for the SU men's lacrosse team. The offensive player of the week in the CLC. This is the 3rd time that he's won that award this year in his career. He's won it 4 times. The senior last week scored 8 points, landed 4 goals with 4 assists against Kane. The Seagulls defeated Kane 23-8. Then a couple days later, they took down Stockton, another conference opponent, 21-7. Bromwell ranks 2nd in Division III in points per game at 6.64 and 4th nationally in assists per game at 3.45. Salisbury has a huge matchup coming up this weekend against Christopher Newport. That's the number 2 and number 4 ranked teams in the nation. That is going to be a really good one on Saturday, Anthony.
They are undefeated, so it should be a good matchup. Coming up next, we're going to find out who is the WMDT Athlete of the Week.
I play Salisbury men's lacrosse, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.
All righty, I'm not going to say it's going to rain at your house, but there's a chance of a couple showers late tonight, maybe a thunder shower, and they tend to be a little louder at night when things are a little quieter and we're trying to sleep. But that's the idea. You might hear some thunder here late tonight. Pre-dawn showers moving out. That's what I mentioned earlier. I believe the races in Salisbury for the marathon, I think, will be just fine. Temperatures ranging in the 50s there at 8 a.m. to the low 60s by 10 a.m. Our highly key dog walking forecast. I'd say a pretty decent day to get the walk in. It's a little muggy outside, but still very nice day in the mid-70s. I think Brandy's going to enjoy that weather tomorrow. Marine forecast is looking good here tomorrow after, earlier this week, had a lot of chop out there. So nice to see that that's backed off a bit. And I think that'll be the case for most of the weekend until here in the 7-day forecast, we get to a couple thunderstorms that will be increasing in coverage late in the evening on Sunday. Not looking at a major severe threat, but there could be some gusty winds. I'm more concerned about the heavy rain that could cause some isolated flooding. And then Chris and Anthony, getting cold, but the sun will be back, so I guess we'll take that.
Rich, we'll certainly take that. We certainly need all the sunny weather we can get with all this sports going on Delmarva. Now it's time to unveil something that I always say it's one of the favorite things that we do each and every week. It is the WMDT Athlete of the Week, and it's a familiar face. It's Miles Jarman. Jarman produced 2 goals and 3 assists just in the first half in the game today. He had an impressive day on the lacrosse field.
He was so great out there in Salisbury, and we want to hear who you think should win next week's award. Send in your suggestions to our email, sports@wmdt.com.
So, Chris, you've been doing After the Whistle every Monday. Who do we have this week?
Well, last week we had Y High basketball's Tyson Hayward, and this coming Monday on the News Hour, we're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at Queen Anne's Beatrice Holthouse. She's only a sophomore, but she's a 3-sport varsity athlete, and she's already played some big roles on a couple championship teams. She is so impressive, Anthony. She's about as good as it gets, as good of an athlete that you will find on Delmarva. She won a Bayside championship with the Queen Anne's basketball team. She won Queen Anne's first ever state championship with their soccer team. And now, she's playing with their lacrosse team. Queen Anne's arguably, the best in the Bayside North as far as girls lacrosse goes. So, can't say enough about Beatrice Holthouse. She goes by Bea. Really excited for Monday.
Now, I've not seen her play lacrosse, but I have seen her play basketball at the Governor's Challenge, and she was amazing. She can rebound, she can score. I think she's one of probably the best basketball players on Delmarva, and just we'll get to see more on Monday. It seems like she's a very talented athlete and a student athlete.
Yeah, and basketball is her main sport, and you said it, she can rebound. She's a great defender at the rim, blocking shots. She just plays basketball year round. That's what she wants to play at the next level in college.
Chris, we have a lot of really tremendous athletes on Delmarva that we get to see, a lot. That is going to do it for tonight. As always, thank you so much for watching.
And keep up with us this weekend.